Hello and welcome to Tech Latest by Nikkei Asia, where we bring you the freshest updates from the technology sector in Asia. Every episode, one of our reporters from the region will be filling us in on the tech news on their radar, from semiconductors in China to space travel in Japan to startups in Indonesia. From Nikkei Asia's Tokyo headquarters, I'm Alice French. In this episode, my colleague Jada Nagumo is talking to Akito Tanaka, our senior business news correspondent based in Singapore, about the ongoing battle amongst Asia's automakers for the top spot in the electric vehicle market.
Hi, Akito. Thanks for coming on to chat today.
Thanks for having me.
So recently, we've covered a lot of news from Asia's automobile industry. EV makers have obviously become a key player in the sector and its transformation. One of the biggest names out there right now is BYD, and this week we had a great story about the Chinese EV maker.
Yes, and quite a historical one, I have to say. So Tesla's rival BYD, which is a Chinese auto company, joined the global top 10 automakers in terms of sales and surpassing companies like Mercedes-Benz Group and BMW. And BYD's sales grew more than 96% on the year in the first half of 2023. And Tesla was in 15th place for the first half of the year. Now, unlike Tesla, which focuses on premium EVs, BYD has its lineup at both the low end and the high end of the market. And Tesla is a pure EV manufacturer, but BYD also has plug-in hybrids, where you can recharge the battery and use it as an EV, but also has an engine, so it can go much further if you need to. And this BYD making into sort of the big leagues in the global auto market with really, really fast growth is, I should say, a game-changing moment for the industry.
That is a really big jump in sales. Has much of BYD's growth been attributed to its success in the domestic market, China?
Yes, so BYD is big in Chinese market, and Chinese market is the biggest auto market in the world, and also the biggest EV market in the world, and obviously one of Tesla's main market as well. And it used to be that local Chinese car manufacturers like BYD grew based on domestic demands, so the demands from China. But this is also changing as well. China's auto market isn't doing that well this year due to the economic slowdown, but BYD has aggressively expanded into Southeast Asian market. Even here in Singapore, sometimes you get BYD EVs when you call a ride using ride-hailing app. BYD also started selling EVs in Japan as well. And also BYD is exporting cars to Russia, where the Japanese and the US and the European automakers have withdrawn following the war with Ukraine. And in fact, China overtook Japan as the world's top auto exporter in the first half of this year. So the global auto industry is really, really changing quite dramatically.
BYD is not the only EV success story from Asia this week. In Vietnam, all eyes have been on VinFast, which is climbing the global automaker rankings in terms of market capitalization. VinFast might be a new name for some listeners, so Akito, can you tell us a bit about why it's one to watch?
VinFast is Vietnam's homegrown EV maker, which went public on the US NASDAQ exchange last month. The company was established in 2017 and has been in the EV business since 2022. Its parent company is Vietnamese conglomerate called Vingroup, and the stock price surged this Monday, and its market cap surprisingly surpassed many of the traditional auto giants and became the third largest after Tesla and Toyota.
And has VinFast been able to keep up that momentum on the stock exchange?
It actually plunged more than 40% on Tuesday, so the following day. And one of the reasons for this is that the number of shares that investors can trade is very, very limited at this moment. And therefore, the volatility is very, very high. So I think the market is seeing this stock as more of a speculative investment. And VinFast really has to prove that it can build a solid business, profitable business to justify the share price. And this, I believe, is not that easy.
Well, I guess that means we will continue to see VinFast in not just business, but also market news. Thanks, Akito. Now, before we go, are there any other tech stories you'd like to recommend to listeners this week?
Yes, so I would also like to recommend another market story about Southeast Asia's tech giants, and this would be Grab, Sea, and GoTo, and how the investors are reacting to each company's strategy. Grab's share is up this year, followed by massive cost reduction. However, Seed stock isn't performing well because they recently announced a plan to invest more in e-commerce business. So the investors are really focusing on profitability and not so much, I should say, on growth. It's a great article, so please check it out.
Thank you, Akito. Hope I can talk to you soon again.
Thank you.
That's all for this episode. You can read more of Akito's reporting, along with a host of other stories about Asia's tech industry, on Nikkei Asia's website, asia.nikkei.com. And if you like what you hear, why not subscribe to our weekly Tech Asia newsletter, which will be delivered to your inbox every Thursday. There's a link to sign up in the show notes. And check back in next time for more updates on the tech trends that matter.